Hello, everybody. Today we're going to answer a question that I got from one of my peeps, and it's Tony. Do you have a video about water? I was telling someone I was a Kangen, which is alkaline, and she recommended distilled water. I have another friend who likes Berkey, and we're going to be. I'm going to dive into this is my opinion, and I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist. This is Anthony Stewart, this is Food for Thought, and we're questioning everything they've ever said. There's a lot of questions out there about water, and this is going to be my take on it. I think, and once I'm going to can't overemphasize, there's probably going to be a lot of people that are going to have comments about this, and to be honest with you, what is? That's the question, right? Water. I think we look to nature. A couple things. I think the pH is very subjective. I know our blood pH is slightly acidic, really close to neutral. 7 point something is our blood pH, and I believe that is one of the systems that is tightly regulated. It's very important to keep that pH level of your blood. But then we look at stomach acid as well, and stomach acid is 1.5-ish to 2.5, I think. So our stomachs are very acidic, very like one of the top animals on the planet as far as stomach acid. So what do? You have one version in this question that's distilled water, which is basically taking everything out of it, and it's just H2O, no minerals, which I think probably is not a good idea, and I'll get to the reasons why. And then we have on the other end of the spectrum, salt water, ocean water, which, I think salt water is a pH of 8.2, maybe 8.1 now. I don't know what we're doing to it, but it's probably riddled with plastics. That's another day. So when I look at water, a couple things that I've come to realize. How do animals in nature know how much water to drink? We get told we got to drink 8 ounces every hour, or 2 liters a day, and I think our hydration signals. There's a lot of variables here. I believe it comes down to minerals, electrolytes, and should we be drinking distilled water? I don't. Although I think it's safe. Water's a natural solvent, and it's a chelator. So if your water is lacking these minerals, theoretically it's going to pull the minerals out of you, which may cause dehydration. I'm not sure. Technically, distilled water should be the pH about neutral, neither acidic nor alkaline. And if you look at our bodies, we're 70-ish% made of water. The Earth is 70% made of water. So what the percentage of salt water compared to fresh water? But what I know is we need fresh water to live. Now, minerals come into play. This is a big deal. I'm not sure about the pH because there's so many different factors that can affect it. Is there a time for Kangen water, like to be drinking 9.5 alkaline? I mean, the reasons for it may be a little bit muddy because, some people believe that, the cancer can't survive in an alkaline environment, which maybe I think has a lot more to do with the sugar content of your diet. But there may be like people say that this food is acidic, our pH is tightly regulated in our blood. That's the most important thing. So is there a time for distilled water? Possibly. Is there a time for Kangen water? Possibly. I like to look to nature. So when we were getting our first thing when you're, in a survival situation is you find water. Now that water will be mineralized in some way if it's running through the earth, picking up the minerals. So you can look at some of the bottled waters out there, and they'll have this thing called parts per million. Now it's argumentative to say that you want a higher ppm. I think that's a good idea, is to get mineral. Like what I drink is I try and drink spring water as much as I can that's been naturally mineralized from a source. The problem is, do we really know that's what they're selling? I don't. I know tap water is very subjective in your area. I don't believe chlorine, fluoride, definitely, atrazine, all those things are good for humans. So how they're filtering it, maybe what you need is a carbon filter or a filter of your tap. I think that's not a bad idea. and then try and do your best to drink the best quality water you can. I know there's some mineral waters out there that are subjective, and I believe Fiji and Evian probably are really good sourced water, but unfortunately the plastic bottles I don't agree with, because then you have the problem with we don't know how they've been shipped, contained, if the plastic's been heated in the sunlight or stored in heat, that leaches the chemicals more. So drinking water out of plastic bottles is not exactly optimal. And how much water to drink, I think, depends on, it's very vague. How much exercise you're doing, how much you're sweating, what's your mineral content like. So I think a lot of it, you just got to look to nature. And if you look at animals drinking in nature, they have an automatic off switch. And so do you. Try and drink 4 liters of water in one go. Your body will just say no more. And I think that's a good natural thing. And I do believe dehydration happens post dehydration. Like the symptoms of dehydration are you're way dehydrated when you get these symptoms. So I think it's more of a trial and error, touch and go. I don't think we should be forced drinking water to a certain amount. Just naturally, I think our natural signals will tell us when to stop. Try and drink the best quality water you can. I don't know how the pH really matters. There's probably a lot of arguments saying this way or that way. I do believe heavy mineralized salt water, it will dehydrate you. And distilled water in a maximum level, I mean, is there a place for it? Possibly. But I think if you can just drink the best quality water from a natural source that's been least tampered with by the human is the best way to go. And that's my opinion. Hope this helps. Stay strong.